Good evening, I am Adventure Argonaut. This is the Golden News, and I bring you the news from the past week. But before we go to the news, we of course have to check all our streams: Kick, Twitch, Rumble, and Twitter, or X, Xitter. Now also on Xitter. Although I don't think anybody's watched any of my streams on Xitter so far. Let's see. Anything here? Okay, Rumble looks okay, and Kick and Twitch look okay. Xitter is still now. It doesn't seem to be streamed yet, or is it? It should be. Hello. I'm not sure why it's not working right now, but on Twitter. Okay, let's try one more time. I'm gonna stop the stream on Twitter and then try to resume it. If that doesn't work, then just then won't be streaming there today because I don't want to waste too much time. Let's to get. Okay, I guess that's good enough of a title. Good enough of a title. News. Just right. And start Twitter. Is it streaming now on Twitter as well? Yes, okay, now it's working. I don't know, maybe my title was too long or something previously, but yeah, now it's everything seems to be working finally. All right, let's go then and see what the first news is. So is of course Bondi Beach attack. That's I guess the biggest news of last week, of the past 7 days. So let's have a look. All right. So first of all, Candice Owens appears to have been right because she said they have been signaling that a 9/11 style attack is coming the second week of December. Save this tweet; it will age well. I think she said it like 3 weeks ago or something like that, maybe a month. And I actually did remember that because I reported on it, and I was somewhat skeptical that whether this is going to happen, but um, apparently, something like that did happen. Is the Bondi Beach attack, and there's also Adam here points out Brown University and Bondi Beach on the same day. So first, let's have a quick look of what happened on Brown University. I don't know if it's as significant. But 2025 Brown University shooting. So December 13, mass shooting occurred at Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island. So that's where H.P. Lovecraft was born, right? That's why I'm interested in the city. So yeah, 2 students were killed and 9 others were wounded, and so yeah, I don't know if there's any deeper meaning to this event. I don't really know. I haven't really seen people talk about it because Bondi Beach attack was much, of course, more alarming, I guess, in many ways, and caught people's attentions more. Right. So let's go. So there's this picture. Human rights lawyer Arsen Ostrovsky shared a photo of himself after being shot at Bondi Beach in Sydney. He survived. So supposedly this guy, he was in another. Yeah, he was in the like 7th of October attacks in Israel a couple of years ago and survived, and now he survived this attack. He moved 2 weeks ago to Australia, and then he survived this attack. And here's his, taking a selfie when he's bloodied. And I think Twitter has sort of banned this image, but I'm glad I took a screenshot of it before that happened. At least I have tend to get like that we are, due to local laws, we are verifying your age and all that bull crap, so I can't see the picture. Um, so at least some instances, I don't know, it's very arbitrary. But anyways, then there's this image of this guy being some makeup being applied to this guy, and he's laughing. So clearly, it's, if this photo is accurate, it's would suggest that it's fake. But of course, people have been saying this is AI, and honestly, I don't know whether it's AI. Like, it's fairly, like, just looking at the table and these and everything, it looks credible, and the grass, but like, yeah, his, like, the text on his shirt is a bit weird, and of course, like, the car here, like the stripes, maybe it's looks a bit odd, but so I don't know. But at least this guy says Grok confirms this image is real and not AI. Now the image doesn't show any signs of being AI generated. Details like shadows, textures, and objects look consistent with the real photo. It depicts a makeup artist applying fake blood on what seems to be like a film set. Mainstream reports confirm the Bondi Beach incident was as real, though some online posts suggest otherwise. So yeah, and here Grok is saying, no, the image doesn't show any signs of being AI generated. Yeah, so talking about this picture, yeah. Grok is this AI. So I don't know, like, it's Grok. It can get things wrong. So I'm gonna reserve judgment on this. But I have seen. Oops, did I close? Okay, I closed it accidentally. But I have seen people claiming that people who share that picture on Twitter, they should be banned and all that stuff. But anyway, E. Michael Jones says the Bondi Beach attack has false flag written all over it. Well, he's not pulling any punches. And Gilad Atzmon, they tell us that the attackers were linked to ISIS, a Sunni militant group, and at the same time they searched for Iran-Shia connection. They must believe the rest of the world is stupid. So Sydney gunmen identified as father and son reportedly. Okay. Indications point to possible Iranian link to deadly Sydney attack, officials say. Officials are also examining potential links to other terror groups, including Hezbollah, Hamas, Lashkar-e-Taiba, and Pakistani group connected to Al-Qaeda. And then this isn't a bit suspicious that Israel googled the name of the shooter before the Bondi attack happened. So this is time of the attack. So I don't know how much like how much earlier is it? How are you supposed to interpret it? Is it like a day before? No, it's not. So it's 5 something. So is it 5 a.m. here? So I'm not quite sure what's the exact time, and some people have pointed out that it's just due to different time zones, but that's not, like, if this is like the correct time, I don't know, 6:45 p.m. Is it Israel time or is it Australian time or what? So I'm not quite sure about that. But this is, allegedly one of the shooters named Navid Akram. So just reporting it, not quite sure whether it means that some people were googling his name just a few hours before the attack, or whether it means that it was It's just some time zone difference. But yeah, it's the same news. Bondi Beach shooter name spiked on Google Trends hours before attack, and found the hidden archives found the spike in both Australian and Israeli Google. Okay, let's see. And here, so his driver's license was found there on the site, I presume. Date of birth 2001. Oh, so young. Uh, so yeah, I don't know. Like it's on the 13th when the shooting happened, right? But it's like, is this on Israeli or Australian Google? Presume it's Australia. I don't know. But yeah, not gonna waste more time on that. Okay, let's see what else we have. Iran is behind the attack in Australia. Israeli security source to Israel media. Well, not a surprise that Israel would be blaming it on Iran, but I don't understand what would. Oh damn! I forgot my chat, my kick chat from my lineup of chats. So let's put it there before somebody says something. It's gonna be a bot anyways, but because I was messing with Twitter and stuff. But all right, I guess that's fine. Yeah. So I don't understand what how Iran or any radical Islamist groups would how would they benefit from this attack? I really don't. And so this guy, Junior, claims Navid Akram is an IDF soldier that served in Gaza and returned to Australia. Today he lost his mind and killed 12 Jews. So if he's wrong, why isn't there a community note pointing it out? So, and this post has been up for a few days already because I did a short stream on Sunday and discussed this matter a little bit already. I think I showed this tweet and now community notes. So and I did see some people complaining about this post, saying that this guy should be banned or something, but it's nothing has happened, so it doesn't mean he's correct. A tragic mass shooting occurred in Sydney's famous Bondi Beach during Hanukkah celebration today. Multiple lives were feared lost. Amid the chaos, video surfaced of a brave man who disarmed the attacker with his bare hands, hoping he's safe and unharmed. Salute. Can we? Yeah. So what I've heard is that the hero here didn't shoot this guy, and somehow he got the attacker got another gun, and then he shot the hero that he's in hospital but not dead. So, and I've heard that his name is like Muhammad al Muhammad, and it sounds like a Muslim name, but somebody claimed that he's Christian. So I don't know what the truth is there, but I guess it's quite badass if he's an actual, you know, if it's correct that that he actually did disarm a shooter, like that it's not crisis acting as some people have suggested. I'm not gonna claim either way, but I do find it sus, like this image, like it's like, why would you taking pictures like this? And the guy doesn't seem hurt. He just has lots of blood looking substance on top of him, but stuff like that is it smells a bit funny to me, but I'm not going to make any definite judgments. Okay, this is Australian headline from before the Bondi attack. Israel knew the attack was coming, almost like they planned it. So Iran targets Bondi, Delhi, inside the anti-Jew attack on eastern suburbs. Blah, blah, blah. So Yeah, Bondi. I don't know what sort of an area Bondi is. It like a big city, or is it like just a beach and a deli, or what? But yeah, interesting, anyways. Okay, and there's Grok saying that this image is fake. So, does this image appear staged? Yes, this image appears to be staged or fake. The blood has an unnaturally bright and glossy red hue that's more consistent with corn syrup based fake blood or paint used in movies and special effects makeup than real blood, which tends to darken and coagulate up quickly upon exposure or something. So according to Grok, this one is fake, but not the other one where we show, this guy that they're applying that blood on him. But that's just Grok. It's AI. It's not that reliable a lot of the time. Hey, I see somebody in my chat. Seems like an actual human being. Stolen Hellcat, welcome. Your broadcast has many things we don't know about yet. Thank you. Okay, well, thanks for, I don't know, uh, showing up and stuff. So it took 10 minutes for Australian police to respond to the Bondi shooting, despite the police building being within line of sight of where the massacre occurred. Okay, that's a bit weird if that's true. If it's like if they can see from the police station. Not just that, the that eyewitnesses report that police stood by and did nothing to stop the shooters. Australian officials shut down all press questions about the police behavior. Why? Okay, that's the police station. I don't know. Like, yeah, it looks like there's a park or beach or something between them. So is it really like there's no like tall buildings blocking view, and they still took them 10 minutes? And I don't know if this is true, but interesting claim. And also here's Junior again. Navid Akram's real name is David Cohen. So this is from Facebook. So I saw some people claim that it's, yeah, supposedly this is AI generated, but this is a real profile. So I don't know whether this is accurate information or not. Just sharing it. But once again, if this is fake, why don't we have a community note here? Like, that's why the community notes exist, right? Like usually nowadays, though they're not like they're not doing much actual fact checking. It's more like argumentative, in my opinion. So I don't know. I guess community notes, they're sort of dead already. Mm. The Bondi tragedy was another Mossad false flag, as only Mossad agents are able to get those exact weapons in Australia, being that guns are outlawed. Don't fall for the satanic synagogue tricks. So yeah, that's a good point, because how did they get weapons? Like because yeah, there was that some mass shooting or something in 90s, and all the guns were banned in Australia. I think it was in the 90s. So yeah, how did they get the weapons? Like that should be an relevant question. So Mossad has officially joined the investigation today to assist Australian authorities following the terrorist attacks. The agency will examine who carried out the attack, whether anyone directed or supported the attackers, whether it was a lone wolf operation. Mossad will also focus on determining whether Iran or Hezbollah had any involvement in attacks. Why is Israel's intelligence investigating shooting in Australia? Good question. So yeah, chat says he was registered gun owner, or so you can register to have guns in Australia then. Okay. Yeah, I don't. Maybe I should look more into Australian gun laws. I just know that they're very heavily regulated, but apparently somebody can. But did he use the guns that he had like registered, like, or did he have some unregistered guns? Because this It's like a sniper rifle or something. I don't know so much about guns. He had five. Okay, so I guess it's not so restricted as I was told. Like if he can have five guns, or does it mean like? Do you mean that he had five guns, but were they registered guns or like some black market guns? But yes, the Toad is asking a good question here. Why is Israel's intelligence investigating a shooting in Australia? Like, were those people killed on the beach? Were they Israeli citizens, or is it just because they're Jews? Like, let's say that there were 12 Finns on the beach and they were shot. Would they, would Finland send their, super secret police to, or protection police? I don't know what's the English translation for it. Like, so he had five registered guns. Okay, so you can have that many guns. I didn't know that in Australia. But yeah, so like, why does Mossad have the right to operate on Australian soil? Isn't like a foreign intelligence agency? Like of course it's obvious why they're allowed, but it's still like I don't think it's very sane for to allow them. And there's this. So police are responding to developing incident at Bondi Beach and are urging the public to avoid the area. Anyone at the scene should take shelter. Police are on the scene and more information will be provided when it comes to hand. Hi all under 16s, please take note. Yeah, so because under 16-year-olds they cannot see it, at least legally in Australia, because they were banned from social media or certain social media platforms, at least not all. So yeah, it puts the removing under 16s from social media puts their lives at risk. It's a good point, although I don't know how many people that would be saved by a tweet like this. Like, would they happen to see something like that? Um, And Trump says he's going to attack ISIS after ISIS flags were found in the Bondi Beach attackers' cars, another false flag confirmation. But ISIS headquarters is in Tel Aviv. So is he going to attack Tel Aviv? That would be based. Oh, and Keir Starmer here. As we light the Hanukkah, our thoughts and prayers are with those murdered in the terrorist attack on Bondi Beach today, their loved ones, and the whole Jewish community. Light will always win over darkness. So yeah, so he's Jewish, right? Keir Starmer, right? Why else would he be so like? I don't know if Buddhists are killed in a attack like this. Will he? I don't know, do some Buddhist incense ritual or something. It's like just I told him he should admit and be proud of his heritage if he's Jewish. Like he's such a great example of leadership in Britain. Like one of the greatest leaders in the history of the European continent. So he should be proud of his heritage, right? Like instead of like sneakily just like I just happen to like them. I'm not Jewish or whatever. I don't know, but yeah, I find the attack rather sus, and like usual, I don't see how the Muslims from would benefit from this thingy. Uh, but I do see that Israel is trying to benefit from it. Maybe that's all I'm gonna say about that right now. So let's move on to the Finnish news. I don't often talk about Finland, but this news I take very personally because Finland is so racist. Oh my god. So yeah, there's so the story is that I also talked about this on Sunday, but I'm gonna talk a bit more. Try not to repeat too much of the same stuff I said, but so there was this Miss Finland beauty queen Sarah Che, don't know how her name is in Finnish, so I don't know how to say it. I think she's like her heritage is from Kosovo, but she was born in Finland. That's what I read somewhere. But anyway, so she was just having fun with her friends and made this expression, and her friend posted it on social media saying like I'm having dinner with a Chinese person or something, and then of course outrage, horrible, and but the cool thing is that and she was forced to relinquish her title. Damn it, difficult word. So she was kicked out from being the supposedly most beautiful woman in Finland. Although I don't think she's that beautiful, and I do suspect that part of the reason why she won in the first place because she is somewhat diverse, I guess, but that's not really my point here. But the interesting thing is that some Finnish politicians actually did the same gesture are they racist? See, that's not even like they're not even racist. But even if they were, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't care anymore because this incident has radicalized me quite a lot, and I will get to that later. So, wait, my phone is ringing. Damn it! I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Oh no! All right, sorry, I'm back. My mom called me. I thought maybe it's something important. It wasn't that important, but she usually doesn't call like that. So, anyway, so I was explaining about this. So, like, yeah, some of the politicians are uh, supporting the Je suis Sarah, like, like Je suis Charlie when the Charlie Hebdo shooting happened. So they were supporting her right to self-expression, and especially she wasn't, the Sarah, the beauty queen, she wasn't doing it as some sort of like challenge to the world. She didn't say fuck China or anything when she did it. She was just having fun, and that's what young people do. They do stuff that it's considered in certain like so, um, situations might be considered insensitive or offensive or whatever. Like, of course, that the mistake is that she like they posted it on social media. That's of course dumb nowadays because you will get attacked for whatever you do. But anyway, so this guy Finnish member of parliament Juho Eerola is under fire after posting Jesui Sara profile photo mimicking eye-pulling gesture that cost former Miss Finland Sara whatever her title. So he denies the image is racist and says it was for fun, while critics says it normalizes racial stereotyping of people of East Asian origin. See, for me, like I live in Asia, and like I don't see anything wrong with Asians having slanted eyes or anything like that. So it's difficult for me to see this as even so offensive because it's like it's like, is there's a difference between like if you go to some random guy sitting in a cafe shop and do this to them, like yeah, sure, that can be offensive because you're bothering them and doing something weird. But like if you're doing something in private, that shouldn't be an issue. But I've seen a lot of Asians triggered, or at least people larping as Asians. And yeah, there's some other Finnish politicians who did this as well. And this guy Thoton Akimoto, I've seen many tweets from him. I think I muted him because I was tired of seeing him on my timeline. Video channels reporting from Tokyo about Palestine. Okay, so is he Japanese or not? Thoton doesn't sound like a Japanese name, but Akimoto obviously is, so I don't know. Who said the Finnish education system is the best in the world? But well, they know how Asians look. They are really educated. And just to point out that the hypocrisy, because I've seen lots of vitriol, just because a lot of these Asians who complain about it, they probably don't even know the story, nor do they care. They don't care that it was just a couple of girls having fun with no intent on making any kind of political message, and these politicians who are mimicking her are doing it to defend free speech, which is something that happily, fortunately, some Europeans still care about. Most Europeans don't care about that anymore, but some do, and I'm really like it. Revitalized my sense of patriotism, because I'm not really glad, like happy with the state of affairs in Finland right now, but it's there's some politicians who understand the basics of that. You have the right to be offensive, especially like if you're not even it's intending to offend anybody, and if they happen to be offended by it, it's their problem. um, because but these people on the internet who get offended, like especially like I've seen lots of Japanese accounts, or I don't know if they're actual Japanese or just people larping as Japanese or what, complain about this. And it had nothing to do with Japan. They the tweet said something about Chinese, not Japanese. So I don't know. I guess the global media just wanted some story to some controversy, and then they shield it in Asia. But like just to point out, the people who are really riled up, like this Soton Akimoto guy, they have no sympathies for the young woman. Like just a couple of girls having fun. Like she's 22 years old or something. Like yeah, okay, she's adult. She should know better that not than to post stuff on social media, especially if she's sort of a public figure. So that was dumb in that respect. But on the other, I do think that people should have the right to be as offensive as they want to be, and then let people react to it in the way they want to react. But she lost her title and job and stuff, so that's bad. Or I don't know if what it actually entails losing your title as a beauty queen. Like, is there anything else except some stupid crown? Um, But anyway, the people who complain about, they only react emotionally. Like they see this, they get offended emotionally, and they have no either capability to look into the affair. Like why are these people doing this, or they just don't care and they see somebody they can attack, because now it's I guess popular also in Asia to complain about racisms. And so if these people have no sympathy for the young woman who was had to suffer through this scandal, then why should I have sympathy for any of these Asians who get triggered by this? Because they clearly because all they see is they're like sharks smelling blood in the water, and they see that they have the opportunity to attack somebody, and they only accept full capitulation. Like it is the memes of bug people. Like they have like I have no sympathies for them. Like that's kind of like I have no issue with Asian genetics. Another thing I've seen is like some people attacking Finns on Twitter and saying that Finns aren't true Nordics or true white people, that we are partially Asian and stuff. Just like personally, I don't mind either way. Like and like if we are like half Asian or something, personally I don't think it's an issue. Or if we are the purest European stock there is, that's also fine by me. But like these people who get offended by it, they almost sound like Nordicists. Like they're like Hitlerian Nordicists who seem to assume that um, the Thulian or Hyperborean white race is the purest race there is. And if they're being reminded that they're not part of it, like this eye pulling gesture does, it reminds them, then they see it as offensive because they have like an inferiority complex. That's genuinely how it looks to me, because I don't understand the vitriol otherwise over this simple gesture. Like and also, so that has sort of radicalized me. Like I'm gonna announce it from this day on. Like if somebody tries to use racism as an argument, they lose the argument by default. Like it should no longer be an argument. Like you should have zero white guilt over anything you do. Like you should have guilt over some. If you do something stupid or bad, but you shouldn't have any guilt, because this is how they treat you. Like they don't care about any of the nuance or any background. They just, because that's what racism is nowadays. It's just a excuse to attack you if you do something that is deemed wrong. It's like, sure, it's just be proud to be racist, because it's like this sort of NPC behavior. I'm certainly, they are subhuman. They're not really like rational human beings that seem to have capability of thinking about um, matters beyond their initial reaction. So yeah, just to point out, like there's this ad from China that well, the black man is pushed into the washing machine, and then he comes out, and then he's well, much paler Chinese man. And I don't find this offensive at all. But just to point out, like, I saw some, Chinese people on Twitter complaining that, "Oh, I thought Finland was a, pro human rights country." And it's like fucking Chinese have the audacity to say some bullshit like that. And yes, being racist and offensive is a human right, in my opinion. But like, if this what Asians want, like I'm gonna fucking go to war against all of Asia if that's the hill they wanna die on. Like I hope it's just some leftards and stuff on Twitter, because I do think that actual, like also like Japanese, and this had nothing to do with Japan. Japan wasn't even mentioned. And there's this long comment from this guy, also some politician, who was pretty good, but I read it last time, my previous stream, so I'm not gonna read it here. That's just the beauty queen, her picture. Uh, but what was I saying? Yeah, but like Japan, like proper Japan nationalist or something. Like I'm sure they have better, like bigger issues to worry about, like the Islamization or attempted Islamization of Japan, or like China. Like just look at China. What is China saying about, like they have videos of Chinese trampling on the Japanese flag, or a dummy is dressed up as a Japanese soldier and they're happily attacking it. But like this is sense of humor. Young people being silly. But especially in China, mainland China, the sense of humor is only like cruelty to small animals or to anybody against Japanese and stuff. That's Chinese sense of humor in mainland China at least. And see, there's a community note all in Japanese. I'm not gonna try to even like decode it right now because it's just like, why is there a Japanese community note here? Like, it has nothing to do with Japan. And also, like, if they want like war against, like, oh, look how insensitive these are. Like, Japanese social media influencers are going viral for mocking Americans fentanyl addicts who are often seen hunched over and flailing on the streets. So, like, oh my God, fentanyl addicts, we should feel sympathy. So insensitive. Like, is that how, Asia wants to, go, and there's this guy doing the same? Yeah. So I think there was a community note here before about that, saying that she's an OnlyFans model, but now it's taken away. I don't really care. It didn't really have anything to do with the fact that she seems to be mocking fentanyl addicts. How horrible. I'm so offended. Like, really, we have to get beyond, like, the world has actual issues, like shootings, whether it's fake or real, and all, war and stuff, and governments taking away our liberties, governments and corporations. So yeah, there we have bigger issues than somebody making a funny. But some people, they don't seem to care about these actual issues. They just care about this. This is not related to same stuff, but this is Finland related. So over 150 vehicles took part in protests of the Finn-Russian border. People are requesting the Finnish government to reopen the border after unemployment in the bordering towns reached 15%. A chunk of the Finnish economy depends on Russia. And here it says, I miss my grandma and grandpa. So yeah, there probably are some people, who have families on the other side of the border, like in eastern Finland and Russia. So yeah, I support them. I think it's completely retarded that we are in a war, but not war with Russia. Like, at least, like, declare proper war. Like, all of EU and US should declare proper war against Russia if they really want to be at war. Even, like, practically are at war, but not at war. But I don't think there should be war with Russia. Um, oh yeah, more like, let's shit on Japan then. Like, if that's what Japan wants, that's very not Japanese. They it's not part of Japanese culture to stick their noses where it doesn't belong. So I presume it's just some leftards, or maybe some foreigners in Japan larping as Japanese that are complaining about the issue. But it's like, anyway, Japan again. Woman 25 just marries a cardboard video game character. Sega contest winner was allowed to marry Kazuma Kiryu from Yakuza. Meanwhile, birth rate in Japan keeps declining. So is this what you want to do, Japan? Like, Japanese males' dicks are so small that the women would rather marry cardboard than an actual Japanese man. Is this the hill you want to die on? Like, because normally I wouldn't do something like that because I think it's sort of impolite. Um, but, like, because it has nothing to do with it. It's a Finnish internal matter, like this uh, beauty queen thingy, and it shouldn't have anything to do with, like, it actually doesn't have anything to do with Asia. And if the people care, they should figure it out, or like, just to point out, like, so Japanese or Chinese people never do anything offensive online. Like, should we all of the whole country apologize when they I'm sure there's gonna be more offensive things shown, or potentially offensive things shown online. So should we attack whenever somebody does something that can be deemed as offensive? And there's this. I just wonder whether this is related. Norway, Finland, Sweden declares to arrest Netanyahu if he enters Nordic airspace in New York meeting in 2026. So is this why the media is suddenly focusing on negative things about Finland? I wonder. But all right, this rant is over. Let's move on to other news. U.S. politics stuff. So let's see what sort of. It's a lot of Thomas Massey again. It's Monday, December 15th. According to Epstein Files Transparency Act, Public Law 119-38, signed by President Donald Trump on November 19th, the Attorney General must release to the public the Epstein files in possession of the DOJ and FBI by Friday, December 19th. So it's only like 2 days away, basically. 2 or 3 days away. That's cool. Let's see if we actually get the files, or are they gonna redactions are they gonna be, or are they gonna distract us from them somehow? Recently, the president announced land strikes against Venezuela. No U.S. president is authorized to commit acts of war in a sovereign country without authorization from Congress. I co-sponsored this war powers resolution to force Congress to vote for or against this action. Yeah, so I guess that's good. So any chance this will receive a vote? Yes, the law requires it. I believe it will happen next week. Well, the law requires. Does it really? Does it apply to the Congress or the president when they do something that Israel or other agencies care about? A new development: three federal judges who previously could not release grand jury material have now ruled that our Epstein Files Transparency Act has changed the legal landscape, and they will be releasing all material with redactions to protect victims. Okay, so are the victims going to be also like the Epstein accomplices? Yeah, all right, let's just move on. Trump says the U.S. has seized an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela amid mounting tensions with the Maduro government. So Massey asks, still believe it's about drugs? Well, it's possible the tanker could have drugs on it. I don't know, but yeah, probably not. NATO is a Cold War relic. The United Nations should withdraw from NATO and use that money to defend our country, not socialist countries. Today I introduced HR blah 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 to end our NATO membership. Cool. I don't think it's gonna go through or anything, but good. I think every country should withdraw from NATO. Indeed, it is a Cold War relic, and now it's just a way for US to assert dominance over Europe, basically. And there's anal assassin. So large new batch of Epstein photos has been released. So there's this thing. Anal whatever assaults. Okay, it's like a band of Clintons and Epstein and stuff. I don't know. Are they? I don't know. Oh yeah, this guy, like, yeah, Epstein and Woody Allen. Like, you don't hear about him. He's a bit sus, Of course, this old Jewish pervert who married his adopted daughter, and I think his real daughter accused him of abusing her or something. And I don't know whether the accusations are right or whether they're correct, but he doesn't seem like a good dad. That much I can say. So yeah, he had anal assassin, apparently, Epstein. Interesting. Trump approves another $650 million to Israel. Congress approved it too. Trump has approved around 20 billion to Israel in under a year, and this is on the top of the 4 billion they already get, which is set to double. Enjoy those 50-year mortgages. Is this doctored somehow? This picture, he just seems so much, I don't know, fatter and stuff than usual, or maybe because he's been exercising, playing golf or something. Leaked document shows the US wants to pull four countries out of EU as part of Make Europe Against strategy. Countries that Trump plans to separate from the EU are Italy, Poland, Hungary, and Austria. It's like good news and bad news. Like I think it's good. Like if any countries leave EU, I totally believe that the EU should be abolished, but I don't think really it's, United States should be the one doing it. Like, uh, if this is, accurate information, like, shouldn't, I don't know. I haven't really seen like European politicians talk about this, but that should be like a, issue. If US is meddling in European politics in this way, it shouldn't, be an affront or something. And there's okay, what's this? Fuentes said, I want Israel to be our vassal, so we should care about what Israel is doing because America is funding its future adversity and hegemon in the Middle East. This is why Zionists now want us to stop sending foreign aid. It frees them to do whatever they need to. So that's what Fuentes believes. It's too long. I'm not gonna play it, and also I don't wanna listen to Dickie Spencer. I dislike him. Like I'm not a fan of Fuentes, but Dickie Spencer especially, I do not like. Okay, PaxTube says, as I have said repeatedly, Nick Fuentes is a Zionist who just pretends to be anti-Jewish for clicks and views. Well, yeah, because I said previously he said Fuentes said that he likes Stalin because Stalin was a winner, and right now, the Jews are the winners, so naturally he would sign with them. That's just his MO, basically. That's what he admitted. So here he bizarrely justifies funding Israel by saying that's what the Zionists don't want. We reach levels of rightoid stupidity that shouldn't be possible. I have a better way. America can control Israel by sending them unlimited money and weapons, the very thing AIPAC lobbies for. Cut Israel off from everything and put them under a full naval blockade until the state collapses. On the home front, arrest and liquidate all Zionist traitors. Fuentes would be against this because his self-admitted Jewish handlers wouldn't want that. PaxTube is right on, 100%. I'm behind him. Yes, yes, based. Roseanne Barr to Nick Fuentes. You're gonna be begging the Jews to help you down on your knees and repent like Kanye West, motherfucker. So see, Jews have no control over anything. It's like, okay, just because this sort of contradicts this comment, but of course I don't think Roseanne Barr really knows so much about Fuentes, or who seems to be who seems to be like, backing Fuentes and all that stuff. So that's why she's, sees him as an enemy. I think there was a, lag spike on my computer. But okay, just to um, um, get something right, because I think last week I sort of discussed that suppose because Fuentes said that he testified under oath that he's not paid by the feds or anything, but some people claim that he pled the fifth. Okay, is too small, but yeah, here is basically people asking him so many questions, and he pleads the fifth, so right to remain silent, but is not actually there. It's not so accurate. So I think this is his lawyer. So somebody, his lawyer said that I can represent that he has, so Fuentes has, to his knowledge, not been interviewed by any law enforcement, federal law enforcement, or any law enforcement, or turned over any of his devices or anything else. So I presume this is shortly after J6. But then the question should be like, why didn't law enforcement interview him at all? Like, I guess that's a good question. And also this asks about government employment, and he clearly says no, they are grasping at straws. So uh, okay. Have you ever served in military? No. Have you ever been employed by an office of government? No. Have you ever been held elected or appointed office in government? No. Have you ever received grant money or contract from office of government? It doesn't show it here, but I guess I'll assume it's also no. So I guess that means he's not a Fed. However, it's still very much a possibility that, he might have been paid by, let's say an NGO or something that's technically not part of the government, but is somehow and sort of like a money laundering between the government. That I think that's probably legal possibility, that legally he would be correct in saying he didn't receive money from the government when in fact he might have. I'm not saying that he did, but I do believe that Nick Fuentes is certainly a controlled opposition. But whether he's directly controlled, like whether he doesn't believe anything he says and he's just paid by the bad guys, I don't know, or whether he's because he's basically very opportunistic. Maybe that's how he's being controlled. I don't know the details to that. And yeah, there's this. So America's most pro gamer president. So Trump as a Minecraft character, and yeah, this is more accurate version of him kissing the wall. It's like maybe I'm just old, but I don't think this is very distinguished. Like it's fine for Trump supporters and fans and stuff to make stuff like this, but it's the White House tweeting stuff like this. Like I think this is very juvenile. Like let's say if it was the 90s and things were mostly good and stuff, then and Twitter existed, of course, then maybe it would be. But it's like, because or like if Trump truly had like 90% support or something, and America was doing just great, maybe then it would be like, yeah, you can be a bit silly. But like Trump hasn't been doing that well in his during this year. So it's yeah, I don't think it's like he's allowed to be laid back and funny like this. I don't think it's appropriate. All right, but let's move on to Europe, to European distordation. So it's like dystopian retardation. Although, like, I think this picture actually is quite comfy, that AI generated for me. So that's not so dystopian, but whatever. So there's many different news from Europe, from various countries. So UK sons and daughters need to be ready to fight amid growing Russian threat, says the head of armed forces. Go die for Israel, dumb guys. That's what they say. UK wants all iPhones to block explicit images unless you prove your age. Apple and Google will soon to be encouraged to build nudity detection algorithms into their software by default as part of the UK government's strategy to tackle violence against women and girls. How does whether you have some porn or lewd pictures on your phone, how does it protect women and girls? And also, why is it only no, okay, it's Apple and Google. Okay, Apple and Google will be encouraged, but here it says iPhones. I don't know. I don't like this title. I think it's just the article whoever wrote it and where Pirate Nation stole it is like, because it's clearly all for smartphones basically if it's Apple and Google. But yeah, dystopian shithole of England or Britain. The UK has suspended its technology deal with the US. Okay, but there's a community note. I don't think this was here before. The Post incorrectly claims the UK suspended the US UK technology deal. Reports confirm the United States paused the tech prosperity deal on AI quantum nuclear amid trade disputes, British officials acknowledged. Okay, so wait. I'm I'm confused. Where's the difference? The UK has suspended its technology deal with the US. Reports confirm the United States paused the tech prosperity deal amid trade disputes. So does it mean like they have other technology deals going on, but this one thing was suspended? I guess that it means, but it's still somewhat correct then, this Spencer Hakiminian's comment. Just in European Union indefinitely freezes $246 billion in Russian assets. Brussels has invoked rare emergency powers under Article 122 to bypass unanimous voting rules, sidestepping Hungary and Slovakia to pave the way for a massive Ukraine bailout. See, Just declare war against Russia then, if that's what you want. Like fucking cowards. The Ukraine war now becomes a business negotiation. BlackRock CEO Fink has joined Witkoff and Kushner at the Ukraine negotiation table. Like, why? I don't see anybody saying that this is fake news. So it's like, I guess they don't even pretending about all of this. That penny pushing Jews controlled for all of Western world. Like no pretense anymore. The EU will read and process all messages on your devices before they're encrypted. Means you write a message to your mom, EU will know. So I'm wondering how it works. Like if I send a message from outside of EU to EU, do they still do it, or like from EU to another, outside of EU? I guess if it happens in EU at all, they're gonna be reading it. Very nice. The EU has a new enemy, Belgium. They will harass Belgium if Belgium will not steal Russian money and destroy its financial foundation. A reminder that the EU is a trade union. EU plans to treat Belgium like Hungary if it doesn't back Ukraine loan. Uh, Frozen out and cold shoulder, the reality facing Belgian Prime Minister Bart de Wever if he torpedoes the EU's plan. Can we please see your EU collapse within, I don't know, let's say within, in less than 2 years at least, then that would be good. Maybe it would be salvageable. The UK government has released a statement condemning China for locking up a man on speech offences. Last year, the UK government arrested 9,700 of its own people for speech offences. So the UK government condemns the politically motivated prosecution of Jimmy Lai that has resulted in today's guilty verdict. Jimmy Lai has been targeted by Chinese and Hong Kong governments for peacefully exercising his rights to freedom of expression. Beijing's national security law has imposed on Hong Kong to silence Chinese critics. UK has repeatedly called for the national security law to be repealed and for an end to the prosecution of all individuals charged under it. UK, if they didn't want, like, I presume that Jimmy Lai sounds like a Cantonese name, not like a Mandarin name. So he's probably from Hong Kong. I don't really know who he is. He's probably from Hong Kong, and because of the security law, this is like extradition law from Hong Kong to China or something. So if they don't want it, like maybe they shouldn't have given Hong Kong back to China, because like the China that the British Empire signed the treaty with, 150 years ago or more than 150 years ago, is not the same China as the communist China nowadays. They could have done that if they wanted it, but then again, it's still probably better for Hong Kong not to be part of the British Empire. So hey, I don't know. Just dodge the bullet by getting shot in the head or something. Uh, but yeah, it's just there's this quote from Legend of Galactic Heroes, the anime. Like if you see a battle between a monster and I don't know, well, two monsters, whatever, you hope both of them die. Chat control no longer forces us to break encryption, but now it now requires age verification. Okay. So yeah, what was the difference? I don't know. Age verification. It's not age. It's doxing. Like age verification would be just if it asks like, "Are you over 18?" Yes, no. That's age verification, right? If it does that, it's like, okay, it's annoying, but you can deal with it. Wait, why is this here? This is not. Okay, is that already? Uh, Yeah, okay, that team pool thing shouldn't be here. It should be later. Brigitte Macron sparks outrage after calling anti-rape protesters dirty bitches. France is in uproar after Brigitte Macron was caught on camera referring to anti-rape demonstrators as dirty bitches. The reaction has been explosive. Women protesting sexual violence were insulted by the president's spouse or dad, according to some, or uncle. The French government is now pleading for the public to leave her alone. Macron's inner circle is scrambling to paint her as the victim. So, but I'm just wondering whether Brigitte Macron is female because now she's having the trial against Candice Owens to prove that she's female or Caesar is female. So, is Caesar female or not? Like, I want to know. I'm curious because I don't want to misgender Brigitte, so I want to know the truth about Brigitte. And the law will surely determine that. Oh, bad news. In the Netherlands, two young men who protected White Lives Matter on a bridge in Rotterdam have lost their appeal and their 6 months prison sentence was reaffirmed. Dutch media are calling this a light sentence. So, what's the crime here exactly? Like, just imagine if they had projected Black Lives Matter, Jewish Lives Matter, would they be in jail? Muslim Lives Matter? I think not. So, what's the crime? Like, is it like vandalism? If it's just projected, it's light. It's not like they did a graffiti there, right? What's their crime? No, no, still don't want you. Simple, nobody wants you. Yeah, okay. EU President Ursula von der Leyen announces more immigrants are coming to Europe. To prevent illegal crossings, she says we must open new and safe legal pathways to Europe. And they're opening an office in India to connect European businesses with Indian migrants directly. If we don't stop her, there won't be Europe left. These traders are determined to destroy this continent. Yeah, why aren't we building oubliettes? Hey, StreamHub shop, welcome, welcome. So yeah, well, why? Yeah, is if we don't stop her, why don't do most Europeans really care about this? That's a good question. So Germany to bring mandatory conscription. This is in response to the German armed forces recruitment drive failing, with barely anybody signing up. It seems the EU is realizing that nobody will fight in their proxy wars for them, and they're panicking. That's good. Well, that is, the mandatory conscription. They clearly want to start some war just to, harm Europe, not to, Europe's enemies, whomever they are. Viktor Orban said, today the Brazilians are crossing the Rubicon. At noon, a written vote will take place that will cause irreparable damage to the Union. The subject is vote of the vote is the frozen Russian assets on which the EU member states have so far voted every 6 months and adopted a unanimous decision. With today's procedure, the Brazilians are abolishing the requirement of unanimity with a single stroke of the pen, which is clearly unlawful. With today's decision, the rule of law in the European Union comes to an end, and Europe's leaders are placing themselves above the rules. I think that's happened a long time ago. Instead of safeguarding compliance with the EU treaties, the European Commission is systematically raping European law. It is doing this in order to continue the war in Ukraine, a war that clearly isn't winnable. All this is happening in broad daylight less than a week before the meeting of the European Council, the Union's most important decision making body, bringing together heads of state and government. With this, the rule of law in the European Union is being replaced by the rule of bureaucrats. In other words, a Brazilian dictatorship has taken hold. Hungary protests this decision and will do everything in its power to restore a law order. So yeah, it's good that some European leaders have an issue with this bullshit because most probably don't. An elderly man was fined $330 for spitting out a leaf that blew into his mouth while on a walk. Heavy-handed enforcement officers have sparked backlash over strict litter rules. How about he should sue the leaf for sexual harassment? He the leaf entered his mouth without his consent, so he should sue the trees or all of the nature of UK. Yeah, I think that's what he should do. That's sort of like, an episode of Married with Children, the show with Al Bundy. Like there was one episode where a burglar broke into their house, and Al Bundy, the father of the family, he punched the guy in the face and breaking his nose or something, and then so yeah, he punched him in the face and breaking his nose, and then he sued Al Bundy because of that. But then Al Bundy countersued him for breaking his arm with his face. I'll be right back. I have to bring some water to my kid who is sleeping. Can you hear the water? Okay, be right back. Okay, I am back. So, okay, let's move on. Let's move on. The EU could seize X from Elon Musk to transform it into a publicly regulated platform promoting European decency. Translation: European degeneracy. Like, I don't think Xitter is, the best and mostest freest platform out there, but certainly it would get even worse if that would happen. And it's like, uh, it's sort of like what Russia did, isn't like, when the Ukraine conflict started and they, nationalized the McDonald's and made like, turned them into different kinds of, you know, fast food places with different name and stuff. So I guess this is what this is, but probably, it would be just more incompetent. But it's like, yeah, what are there any European social media platforms? All they can do is like, potentially steal somebody else's invention. Still, this guy showing up. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Bulgaria. Yeah, Bulgaria government resigns after days of mass protest across the country against government corruption. So yeah, the government resigned, but I think what's more interesting is that I hadn't heard that there had been mass protest. I think somebody said it was weeks of mass protest, but I didn't hear anything about it before the government actually capitulated. Yeah, the Bulgarian government has resigned after nationwide anti-corruption protests led by the Gen Z. The protests were sparked by Bulgaria's 2026 budget, the first in euros ahead of its eurozone entry. So it's gonna enter eurozone in beginning of next year. So I don't know a great deal like what manner. Like I guess they were pro EU bureaucrats or politicians. I wonder if the new ones who's going to replace them, if they're going to be any better. But I guess it's still good news. Let's load some of these. This guy said, Eli Ilieva, I'm Bulgarian. We have been European since 681. We were a country before anyone else appeared on the map. We are the ones who stopped the Arab invasion of Europe during the time of Khan Tervel, ruler of the First Bulgarian Empire. We created the Cyrillic alphabet, which is used today by nearly 250 million people. For 5 centuries, the Bulgarian people were enslaved by the Ottoman Empire, and after 5 centuries of slavery, we preserved our language, our culture, our traditions, and most importantly, our faith. This happens thanks to Russia, which played an important role in the liberation of Bulgaria from the Ottoman yoke. We went through the Balkan and World Wars, communism, and survived. This is the short version. We have over 1,300 years of history. We are a patient people. We have suffered enough, but let Brussels think again. You can neither subjugate nor command such a people, and since now the appetite for power is possessed by a party connected to foundations, foreign embassies, and Soros, let it be clear, you have no place in the governments of the state. If for some reason this happens, like Romania, for example, you will see what revolution is. Thank you for your attention. Well put, interestingly put. All right, but let's leave Europe behind for now and go back to the United States. And Candice Owens and Erica Kirk are gonna meet, or I think maybe they met already, but I haven't heard any like reports on their meeting. So Erica Kirk and conspiracy peddling Candice Owens announced private meeting and amid online feud. I really love the media because they're so fair and balanced and neutral. Like not at all like using biased language to try to attack somebody or defend somebody they like or nothing like that. They never do that. Okay, fine. Okay, Team Pool, you can have your moment now. So because Team Pool is getting triggered by Candice Owens really badly, and he claimed that somebody tried to shoot at him at home, but according to TMZ, Team Pool's claim of shots fired at his house can't be substantiated, cops say. So supposedly he lied for attention. Uh, Uncensored AI says, even though I don't think this is just some guy behind the account. I don't think it's actually AI. This saying this. Candice is obviously getting way too close. It's very clear the intensification of both volume and rhetoric of attacks is ascending in line with the closer she's getting. Now you have a multitude of attacks running parallel of each other, pushing the plausibility of a 3006 not leaving an exit wound and separate efforts to discredit Candice individually using tidbits from her past completely unrelated to Charlie Kirk's assassination. She's very clearly right over the target. Yeah, otherwise they wouldn't be so triggered. Um, So to everyone asking, what's wrong with questioning Charlie Kirk's test? Everything. FBI has the killer in custody, text messages, weapon recovered on camera fleeing. Parents turned him in after he confessed. Motive, affair with transgender lover. Tyler Robinson murdered Charlie Kirk. Full stop. Stop harassing Erica Kirk. Stop spreading conspiracy poison. Justice is coming. Yeah. Um, so there is no bullet, there is no autopsy when it is required in the state of Utah. The suspect wasn't there. No fingerprints. Crime scene destroyed immediately. No confession, no letter, no video footage of him ever carrying a rifle disassembled. Even no motive. Tyler is a patsy. They want to blame an innocent person for Charlie Kirk assassination. Yeah, where's the community note if he's wrong, right? Like the shields are getting so lazy. Erica Kirk, Charlie. Oh my god, this. Charlie would walk through the door, drop his bags, and say, Daddy's home, take his phone Friday night, and say, Shabbat Shalom, throw it in the junk drawer. And it was just all of us. That's what I always wanted to. What I always wanted to make so special for him of us coming home.
Daddy's home. Things where it's those little things where, again, he would walk through the door, drop his bags, Daddy's home, take his phone Friday night, Shabbat Shalom, throw it in the junk drawer, and it was just all up.
How do you do, fellow Christians? Lots of people have been incredulous about this comment. So yeah, DEI for white guys. And when I get home tonight, I'm going to look at my beautiful English-speaking Christian wife and children as they greet me at the door, wrap my arms around them, and say Allahu Akbar. Yeah. Let's load those pages. Yes, I can start closing some of the old tabs here. All right. Yeah. Shabbat Shalom. That is. I don't know. That's just silly. Okay, let's see. So what's this? Forgive you, Tyler Robinson, baby. Erica Kirk. And now let's talk about that bitch, Candice Owens. Yeah, I think it makes a good point. Like, in the beginning, I was very hesitant. I didn't want to, attack Erica Kirk too harshly, but it's like, I don't know, every week she just like gets worse with the stuff she does. And we're gonna close some tabs. Um, and yeah, because like I didn't even know who, like how she looked like or what her name was before Charlie Kirk was shot. Like I knew that Charlie Kirk had a wife and kids, but it's like I had never seen her before as far as I could remember. But not, after that, she seems to be on TV every day. Erica Kirk has Charlie Kirk's phone. She claims she did not find any evidence of threats. So they're asking, why did Kash Patel's FBI allow her to retain a key piece of evidence in an ongoing investigation? Well, I've seen like this is, I think it's a good question, but I think there's also an answer that somebody said that supposedly because uh, Charlie Kirk wasn't the suspect or anything, he was the victim. So like they might download the information from his phone, but then give the phone to the family. So I guess that makes sense. And this, look at the screen behind Erica Kirk, Freemasonic Square and Compass. It's all theater. So yeah, unless this is photoshopped or something, that's a bit on the nose, like this. Come on, man. At least try to be subtle. Jack Posobiec, like, oh my god, he's posting a picture of Tyler Robinson. Patriot Voice says they so badly want you to believe that is the dude with a this is the dude with the lazy eye who supposedly killed Charlie Kirk with a 3006. I don't know how to read it. See, I'm not a gun expert. Around, which somehow miraculously didn't take his head clean off or leave any blood splatter or kill anyone else behind. Then Tyler Robinson somehow made a clean getaway because George Zinn was creating a massive scene and a distraction, saying he was the guy who shot him. How dare you say anything to the contrary or question such a rock solid narrative from the most trusted institution in the country, the FBI, you awful sick demon. Yeah, it's just horrible. Oh my god, I'm literally shaking and stuff, figuratively. Uh, so, did Erica Kirk admit today that Charlie Kirk hasn't been buried? Why was that weird fact hidden? So, I think Milo Yiannopoulos made this claim earlier. Like, I asked him, "Can you share a clip?" But no comment. So I don't know where Erica Kirk supposedly admitted this. But yeah, why wasn't he buried? Like, if his burial site is secret, I guess there's the excuse that somebody would want to vandalize it. Like it's a like not just an excuse, like an reasonable explanation, but still there's many questions about that stuff. Erica Kirk speaks against anti-Semitism political violence during the CBS town hall with Barry Weiss. Husband brutally murdered. Greatest concern is anti-Semitism. Yeah, and well, do I have? The, I'm not sure if I have that tab here or not. But somebody said that she's associating with Barry Weiss. That means that she's basically compromised or whatever. I don't know so much about Barry Weiss, but I've seen some people comment on it. So introducing the Arizona and Israel Public Affairs Committee, Erica Kirk of Franzwe, Yair Netanyahu, Tyler Bauer. So yeah, so this is from 2019, I guess, before she met Charlie. So yeah, this is the kind of people she used to hang around with. Look at that flag next to the American flag. So Erica Kirk in tears condemns anti-Semitism. Could you hate Jewish people? Charlie used to say, Jew hate is brain rot. How could you hate that place, Israel? We can all see what this is now. Crocodile tears. I think that's what Antunes here means. The inflection point is here. Without solid video evidence, Tyler Robinson absolutely killed Charlie Kirk with a 30 by 60 06 by himself. 80% of the country is going to think it was Erica TP USA Israel and resent anyone being financially incentivized to push them to think otherwise. Here's Nick Fuentes explaining why this is not true. He's wrong. Yeah, I'm gonna trust Einstein's AI. I'm not gonna watch 3 minutes of Nick Fuentes talking. And they really want you to forget about this. So Charlie Kirk just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candice. Jewish donors play into all the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. Yeah, so far I haven't seen anybody prove this is fake. Laura Loomer is furious that the algorithm is boosting people questioning Erica Kirk's fake tears. She says Erica hasn't slept in 3 nights. Crazy coming from somebody who's built a career mocking and insulting everyone. So she said, I'm sick of seeing the algorithm amplify people mocking Erica Kirk. You people are fucked in your small little heads, and you better pray you never have to deal with what she's dealing with. Yeah, well, I hope I don't have to deal with being a sellout and a horrible spouse. Erica Franzwe. So he asked me, "What's your favorite position?" I said CEO. That's what Erica Franzwe said. This is 2000. So this is like over 10 years ago. Of course, this is not any kind of smoking gun, but I guess it says something about her mindset. Yeah, has any single person benefited more from Charlie Kirk's death than Candice Owens? Yeah, Erica Franzwe. That's true. Maybe Ben Shapiro. Erica has been married before Charlie, so this is from 2015. Erica Franz went JT Massey 5. So prepping another couple's gallery for delivery. You're both amazing humans. I love shooting with you. And somewhere I said that she was like in some like a dating reality show or something just a few weeks before she met Charlie first time or something. I don't know. It's very sus, like when you look into her background and stuff. So Jay here says Candice Owens is now actively trying to help Tyler Robinson and his defense team to get Robinson acquitted. Mask off. I can think of a more demonic individual than her. Are we shocked? So what horrible things does Candice Owens say? Wanted to let you guys know that Tyler Robinson lip reading is complete another fiction. Yeah, because supposedly some people were lip reading him in the courthouse saying some horrible stuff. So what actually happened, Tyler and his lawyer had just learned that his security vehicle which transported him to the court was involved in a fender bender. I'm told that the greeting was the two of them musing, what are the chances this has happened again? Because during his last trip to the court, the very same thing happened with his security vehicle. It shouldn't require reporters to write fan fiction to secure a conviction against Tyler Robinson. We just need to see some of that overwhelming evidence that the prosecution and TPUSA has been teasing. I maintain that I believe Tyler Robinson was involved in the 910, but I do not believe he pulled the trigger to kill Charlie, and I am therefore certain he could not have acted alone. So is she trying to get him acquitted? I guess for the murder she is trying, because she's actually trying to uh, defend a man that she believes to be innocent of the crime that he is accused of. How horrible! Such horrible woman. Um, I never bought Erika's Mossad arguments, but having likely Mossad asset like Barry ask her this question makes me wonder. Also, this entire interview is a disaster, so scripted and fake. TPUSA is in trouble, just the truth.
And yet they're
It's
going.
only 2 minutes, but I'm still not gonna watch it because I still have lots of stuff to go through. Or relatively. Okay, this is the same lip reading stuff I read already, so that's good. I don't have to reread it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. So, the Bride of Chucky, and it's like, yes, there is kind of similarity. She doesn't have black lipstick or anything, but yeah, it is somewhat accurate. Okay, now I have to let's move on to another news and have to switch browsers because if I put too much tabs in the one browser, it's gonna slow things down. Okay, so death warning on the jab, jabby jab, COVID jab. FDA is adding a black box warning on COVID 19 vaccine, warning of serious side effects, including death. Okay, what do we have here? COVID mRNA injections can cause heart damage by triggering immune cells to go on the attack, scientists have found. So, see, this is funny. Like the scientists have found it out just right now, but like schizos, uneducated schizos like me and a bunch of other people, we knew, back then in already 2020 or 21 that maybe you shouldn't take the jab. See, I didn't take it. I'm still alive. COVID didn't kill me. I wonder how did that happen. Like, I think this COVID is like, is the best proof so far that the NPC theory is onto something, and we should. I believe in compassion, so we should protect the NPCs from themselves, and reorganize society significantly to protect people from themselves and the psychopaths in charge. But okay, Luigi had no gun. So this is of course the guy who shot or allegedly shot the insurance company. I don't remember the name of the insurance company anymore. Oops, wrong. This one. All right. So the police bodycam footage shows the initial warrantless search of Luigi's backpack at McDonald's found no gun. Only after the bodycam was turned off for 11 minutes during a second search, the gun was uncovered. If this is true, it's pretty much should be open and shut case that he's innocent, right? Like that just sounds like somebody tried to frame him. Like, why would the body cam be shut off? Don't make no sense to me. All right, but I don't have anything else about that case. So, and then Israel delenda est. So Israel, the political entity of Israel, has to be abolished. Otherwise, we cannot have sanity or peace or anything in the world. So let's see. The menorah is lit for the first time of Hanukkah at the National Menorah Lighting in Washington, D.C. We need a separation of synagogue and state. Yeah, like, do they have stuff like this with crosses? Like a burning cross in front of the White House? Wouldn't that be cool? uh, yeah. Trump admitted loud and clear the confrontation with Iran. It was all for Israel. We did a good job for Israel. We were doing a lot for Israel, not for America, for Tel Aviv. When a president serves a foreign power over his own people, he is not a leader. He's a political agent in a media occupied state. Yeah. Scottish rock band Primal Scream were reported to the police for displaying anti Israeli imagery during their performance in London. So I don't know whether anything came out of it, but I guess the space. I sort of like Primal Scream. I haven't listened to them much in years, but I have a bunch of their CDs back in the day when I used to buy CDs. I don't have all of them, I think, but several though. Today's headline in the Telegraph: Stephen Kramer says he will move with his family to Israel if AFD ever gets into local or federal government. I can't wait. Yeah, Jared looks white to me, Taylor. Maybe he was just put on the spot and that's why he said it, but I can never forget that he said that. When he was asked about, because he said some um, somewhat disparaging stuff about black people, and then they asked, "How about Jews?" And he said, "Looks white to me." So I found that controversial, and not in a good sense. Right? Can you load, please? Guess I can uh, close the other browser already. Okay. So that's where he's going when the music stops. So Zelensky, Volodymyr, nationality Israel, state of Israel. Yeah, can somebody explain this? Is this a fake? Of course, anybody who's paying attention knows what Zelensky's his ethnicity is, but it's like what's wrong with Ukrainian people? Why did they allow him to destroy the whole fucking country? That's what he's basically done. Like there's something wrong with Europeans that they put up with this shit. Iceland has withdrawn from Eurovision in protest of Israel's participation. That's good. What's this then? Damn, Tucker Carlson just exposed that Israel uses an AI program called Where is Daddy to track men and bomb them when they are with their children. US government punished the UN expert Francesca Albanese who exposed this crime. What the fuck? So they want to target the children. Well, I guess it makes strategic sense that if the children survive, they're gonna grow up to hate Israel too. But if they don't survive, then they don't. So that there's a practical application to it, but perhaps it can be applied the other way too. Then, but that's the last Israel news. Then if I can manage to control this thing. Wait, no, no. Okay, it's very slow. Okay, let's go to gaming and entertainment news then. We have some, not that much, some news here. So let's have a look. Brave. So new Divinity trademark uncovered as new icon matches statue. So there was this, weird statue found in some desert in the United States, and people knew it had something to do with the game, but apparently it's to the new Divinity, like Divine Divinity, whatever those games. So it's like yeah, personally, it's like okay. It's like I've played the one Divinity game, like Dragon Commander. That was okay. Like I played it whenever it was new, long time ago. But the issue I have with Divinity games is that I don't know where to start because there's like some of them are really old, maybe they're a bit dated, they don't look so interesting, but like there was the Divine Divinity 1 and 2, they look interesting. But another thing is because they have like two-player mode. And sort of like, am I sort of, wasting it if I play it as single player? But I don't have any friends who would be willing to play that with me anyway, so that's why I haven't played them either. So it's like, eh. Divinity Original Sin is a brand new game that doesn't require any experience with Larian Studios' past RPGs, but you'll be better off if you play the original Sin and sequel. Games Radar, okay. First trailer for Larian Studios' new Divinity game, described as their biggest game ever, larger than Baldur's Gate ever. Like, is it just me that I don't give a fuck about game trailers? It's like, yeah, okay, there's a guy. I guess, like, graphically, it looks sort of intriguing, reminds me of Dark Souls and stuff. Uh, I don't know. I don't care about trailers at all. Google is under investigation in the EU to determine whether it imposes unfair terms on content creators for AI. The EU is investigating Google for forcibly taking content from web publishers and YouTubers to power its AI. Okay, I don't know. I hate both EU and Google. Hard to say which one I hate more. Maybe still EU. Microsoft AI is programmed to hate white people. Who programmed it? Microsoft AI says stop hurting white people is an example of hate speech. Microsoft is training its AI models that phrases such as stop hurting white people and go forth and make white children are examples of hate speech. Okay, very interesting. EU is retarded, man. Germany, especially with what they are doing to Gelburu and forcing Cloudflare and American company to censor the internet. China and Saudi are banning the game is no brainer, in my opinion. So what's this? Japanese blackjack-based RPG Steam version banned in Germany, China, and Saudi Arabia for bikini armor crimes. So why is it bad in Germany? Like, I understand why it's banned in Saudi Arabia, but even China, they have games with boobs, right? UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer says Rockstar firing 31 GTA 6 developers over alleged union busting. Over union busting is deeply concerning and pledges that ministers will now investigate. So if Keir Starmer sees an issue with it, I think Rockstar probably did the right thing in firing those people, even though I'm still not excited about GTA 6. Wasn't excited about GTA 5 either. Lords of Fallen 2 will feature attractive female characters in revealing outfits, CEO says. Wow, it's like new feature. Nobody else figured this out before. Be right back. Okay, I am back. Uh, let's try to get through this quickly. Instead of modernizing Steins Gate reboot will preserve the now fading legacy of 2010s otaku slang and Akihabara culture, devs say. Well, the devs at Mages initially wanted to update the reboot for modern audiences. They ultimately decided to keep the now dated elements as they originally were. That's based. I appreciate that. Like, I don't know much about Steins Gate. I've seen a few episodes of the anime. I should, rewatch it at some point. But yeah, I appreciate it that they actually, even though I wouldn't understand much of the slang either, but it's still good to keep it the way it was. In terms of looks, so this is new Lara Croft in some games. So in terms of look, I think Legacy of Atlantis Left is pretty decent. Catalyst right, however, what the fuck happened here? So I think she looks a bit like Tulsi Gabbard here. Maybe it's just me. And this, like, okay, she looks female and somewhat attractive, but doesn't really look like Lara Croft. And the boobs are still a bit small to how they used to be. But it's like my main gripe is like, who cares about Tomb Raider anymore? Because maybe it's another me thing, but like back when the original Tomb Raider came out, and yeah, I thought it was great. Like Prince of Persia, but in 3D. That was cool. And then I played Tomb Raider 2 as well. It was okay, wasn't so exciting. But then Tomb Raider 3 was like, I sort of forced myself to play through it, but I didn't really enjoy it. And after that, I haven't played any Tomb Raider game. I lost interest. Like I just, there's lots of these franchises that I really loved. Like, one few of the first games, like, Resident Evil or Silent Hill, but I sort of lost interest in a, franchise with loads of different sequels. It's like, I don't think everything has to be a franchise with, like, like Star Wars was best when there were only like three movies. So I don't know who this Square Enix shareholder is, but what they said about Final Fantasy 16 is unfathomably based. Low quality that betrays fan expectations. Why Square Enix don't listen to fans remains the eternal question. All in all, Final Fantasy 16 is heartbreaking to Final Fantasy fans. The tragedy is that Final Fantasy could have been a masterpiece, or 16 has been a masterpiece, but it was too bloated, confused, and poorly assembled to be one. Read the announcement Forspoken for comic relief from a 100-page report by 3D Investment Partners. Okay, sounds like fun. I'm not gonna be deeper into it now, though. Um, Australian kids are using dog photos to bypass new age verification system. Kids uploaded a Google image of a golden retriever as a selfie for facial age estimation and it passed, granting access. Others used AI generated adult faces and edited images to fool the systems. Lol. Uh, okay, I'll be right back again. All right, yeah, I have to heat some milk for my kid. It's gonna take a few minutes, so I'll try to finish before it's finished. Wait, okay. So please don't do this. We poured years of our lives into this game and only worked with real human artists on everything. So this is Shrine's Legacy some game. So somebody left a negative review. AI swap. The game is 100 AI generated. The story is dog shit mixed with cat shit. So yeah, game is 100% AI generated. So apparently the devs say it's not AI generated. I guess I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. This is how it looks like. It's, sort of like Secret of Mana or something. It's like doesn't look like whoa, but it looks okay-ish to me. Uh, so I don't know if this is, if this guy is just making it up. It's like what an asshole. Studio Gainax has officially shut down, marking an end to the 42-year legacy. Gainax is a studio that created Neon Genesis Evangelion, Pantheon Stocky, and Gurren Lagann. So I'm just wondering, like, how can they manage to go bankrupt if they have, own the rights to Neon Genesis Evangelion, because they're still pushing all sorts of, like, it's on all kinds of products still, man. So they should make some royalties from just, like, I don't know, aftershave Neon Genesis Evangelion. Although some people said this is good thing because now the rights go back to the guy who actually created Evangelion, so that might be a good thing, but still weird how they manage that. Japanese voice actress behind Evangelion's Asuka Langley Soryu to make VTuber debut with brand new avatar. The happy news comes amidst Miyamura's recovery from two serious chronic conditions that affected her voice and ability to talk. So I don't know if this is in any way related to the Gainax news, but sort of interesting. Games industry bees open letter claims mobile game dev is ignored because industry perceives it as a world of predatory monetization and low quality. Well, is it wrong? Like, sure, I'm sure there are some um, mobile games that are actually good games and are not predatory. Like, sure, I believe that they exist, but vast majority are not that. I think they are predatory and low quality. Indeed, that's my impression. New Anima trailer revealed Anima is a Pokemon-inspired free-to-play open-world action RPG releasing in 2026. So I don't like the graphically. I guess it looks sort of impressive, but I don't like the way the Pokemon look or whatever. And I wonder if Nintendo is gonna sue them, and if they don't, why won't they? Pragmata will use Denuvo, which is bad news. I don't really know much about Pragmata except it has this lolly, and some people are getting really excited about this lolly character for some reason. But like, yeah, Denuvo sucks. Here it says, yeah, and December, blah blah blah. Let's reload this as well. China has banned dramas where rich CEOs and billionaires fall in love with poor girls. They said such dramas were ruining the minds of girls and making them expect a rich man. So many Indian girls love Korean dramas. They believe that a rich CEO will fall in love with them. So I don't know what this has to do with India with China, but it's like so because the people are retarded, the government is banning retarded dramas to make them less retarded. That's my comment on it. Maybe it's a good thing. The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya series will be receiving a brand new anime project. If this is true, it might be just a fake rumor, but if it's true, I'm sort of intrigued because Haruhi was screwed over because it didn't get a proper second season at all because Endless Eight was atrocious, and I did love Haruhi back in the day. But with that, I'm gonna end the stream. I'm Adventure Argonaut. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.